Hey everyone, my name is Leigh and I'm studying a Bachelor of Business at Monash University at the Peninsula campus. So today we're going to go through a little video presentation, and the purpose of this presentation is to give you guys a little bit of an insight into a particular marketing strategy that is commonly used in modern day marketing practices, and to outline a few examples where this particular technique is used. So by the end of this presentation, I'm hoping to give you a clear understanding of the actual technique, as well as an idea of where it's been used in the past and where it could potentially be used in the future. So without further delay, the technique that will be the focal point of this presentation is nudging tactics. So we'll start off by understanding what nudging tactics actually are. So nudge tactics were first recognized in 2008 by University of Chicago economist Richard Thaler in his book titled Nudge: Improving Decisions About Health, Wealth and Happiness. This was a publication which was labelled one of the best economic reads of the year, and also earned Thaler a Nobel Prize in the field of economics in 2017. Nudge tactics refer to a form of marketing which essentially involves deliberately manipulating how choices are presented to consumers. Its goal is to influence what consumers choose and either steer them towards behaviours which the marketer believes are best for them, or simply to stimulate purchases and increase sales. Nudging techniques aim to use judgmental heuristics to marketers' advantage. In other words, a nudge alters the environment so that when the heuristic decision making is used, the resulting choice will be the most positive or desired outcome for the marketer. An example of such a nudge is switching the placement of junk food in a store so that fruit and other healthy options are located next to the cash register while junk is located to another part of the store. So now we'll just move into looking at a few examples of where this style of nudge marketing has taken place in modern day practices. So our first example can be classified as a social marketing example in the sense that it aims to alter individuals' behaviours. This particular example comes out of Amsterdam's Schiphol airport, and of all people was started by a bunch of fed up cleaners. The story goes that the cleaning manager of Amsterdam's airport was trying to reduce spillage around urinals. He settled on etching small photorealistic images of flies on the urinals right near the drain, the idea being to give men something to aim at. To his credit, by having images of flies etched near the drains of the bathroom urinals, spillage on the bathroom floor was reduced by 80%. This is a great example of a nudge that is rarely consciously processed, yet taps into a quirk in most male behaviour, being that men like to aim at things. This idea is something that's taken off in public bathrooms all around the world, and from a social marketing point of view, it's a great example of the way that nudges don't attempt to make it impossible to do the wrong thing, but rather they aim to make it easier to do the right thing. So guys, the next example we're going to look at is out of the Massachusetts General Hospital. It's another social marketing example, and this one comes from a research team who tried to nudge the staff within the General Hospital to avoid less healthy food options in the hospital cafeteria. They used a 3-light system being red, yellow and green, labelling unhealthy options such as pizza and soft drinks with red and salads and vegetables with green. In addition to this, they also positioned healthier options at eye level whilst repositioning red light options to lower shelves and areas that were more inconvenient for the staff to reach for, basically. The results of this particular study speak for themselves. In the months following, the green item sales increased from 41 to 46%, whilst red items decreased from 24 to 21%. For beverages alone, sales on cold drinks associated with green lights increased from 52 to 60%, and red saw a drop from 27 to 18. 2 years after implementing these changes, red beverage purchases were down by an encouraging 39%. This particular example by the Massachusetts General Hospital is a really good display of the way marketers can use nudge tactics to promote social change. So we'll now just move into having a look at the strengths and the limitations of using nudging tactics. So the major strength of using them is when used correctly, they can be used to drive a consumer towards a certain product or behaviour, such as we've seen in the previous examples of the hospital as well as the airport in Amsterdam. On the contrary to that is the weaknesses or issues which can be associated with using nudging tactics, and these often revolve around the ethics of the companies which are doing the nudging. Whilst almost all companies use nudging in a fair and reasonable way, there's been instances over time which have shown to be over the top in terms of nudging and almost deviating by the company. So we'll now have a look at some of those examples. These sorts of negative nudging tactics are what's known as sludges. So a sludge is pretty much a nudge, but rather the companies using them are aiming to benefit themselves rather than the consumer. Whilst it isn't illegal, some areas of sludging tread on a very fine line of what is ethical and what is not, basically. The best example of this can be seen through subscriptions, which have an opt-out style of selling, so magazines and some online buying and selling avenues. The world of subscriptions differ from buying products and services, as unlike goods purchased, even if we don't use them, we still end up paying. So these subscription-based companies are always finding new ways to keep or lure in customers. Many companies also make subscriptions cancellations difficult, which can further deter people from cancelling an unwanted service or subscription, or at least put them off doing so. Another prominent example of sludging are tactics which encourage the consumer to make impulse purchase decisions, such as advertising junk food at the front of a store, or product offers which advertise limited time offers. Another prominent flaw of nudging tactics is the unpredictability of human behaviour. The continuously changing nature of individual preferences, as well as the diversity of people's behaviour, means that nudge-based strategies will require constant modification to ensure that they are still constant and applicable, and will often mean that they will fail in their aims of nudging. Members of the public will become immune to nudges after a period of time is another key flaw. Furthermore, individuals' responses to nudges are often differentiated across different social, economic, and cultural backgrounds. A critical failure of the nudge theory is its inability to have the same effect on each individual person. Alrighty guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this little presentation and you're a little bit wiser on nudging tactics and you can take away a few key points.